Hi, I'm Shonda Kaiser. I'm one of the co-founders of Shape Your State, and today I'm delighted to talk to Rhina Ramos. Welcome.
Thank you.
Today we're going to talk a little bit about faith and community organizing. And to kick us off, let's just ground ourselves and those who are watching in your definition of community.
So community for me is a strong ties among a group of people who will have your back and to whom you also going to devote yourselves with love and care. And I understood this sense of community from very early on in life. I grew up in El Salvador in times where we needed to look for each other. The Civil War broke in the late 70s, early 80s, and I was still living in El Salvador, and I was like 10-year old, and I just remember how we used to take care of each other and protect each other and tell each other to lie down on the floor flat when shootings were happening. And we were just kids, but we understood it was important to be together. And also adults were willing to open their doors and take care of us until things will normalize outside. We're in the playground. And so for me, community is this image of I go there for safety. I go there for my life to be protected. I go there because people care for me and love me. So that's community for me.
I love that. I love that. And it makes sense that you would become a faith leader based on that grounding and thinking of community. So that being said, how does your faith sharpen or shapes your idea of community?
Yes, I was really blessed to live in very historic times when I was growing up. Priests and nuns and people of faith were being persecuted in El Salvador because they were telling the poor people of El Salvador that God intended for them to live in freedom and to have dignity, and that God intended for them a fuller life that the government wasn't providing for them. So faith for me was faith in action. It never was a faith that didn't transcend the walls of a church. What I was watching was people really speaking up from that place about what it meant to be a person of faith. And we have Monsignor Romero is like a figure like Martin Luther King here in the States that got killed during the 80s because he will, in his homilies, speak of the disappeared, list the massacres, list what the government was doing. In those times, nobody dared to say those things, but he dared from the pulpit to say it, and he was broadcasted everywhere. And I remember when he got killed, a neighbor came to our door and said, Romero just got killed, and it was such a somber night. We all knew in our community that if they had gone for him, it was so hard to think of a future. But he gave us a future because of his martyrdom, people woke up. People wanted to fight a revolution. So for me, faith is a volcano. It is force. It is not something that stays within you and within a Bible. Faith is putting your hands to work.
I love that volcano, faith in action. It makes me feel, I don't know, like I got recharged by just hearing you say that, because a part of me have abandoned faith at times because I get frustrated with human and the human condition, and particularly in these times. I'm wrestling with a question right now that I want you to help me think through. We are in a time where we have clear who our target should be, but a lot of us, and I mean, I don't want to just say people of color, but I mean people who are committed to dismantling systems of oppression. We get, confused and paralyzed in our turf. And when we talk about white supremacy culture, we have such a narrow view of who's with us and who's against us. And to some degree, I think being an effective organizer, you got to be fluid with people.
Yeah.
How do you walk into your community like that?
Yeah. You know, my coming out as a lesbian after being a fundamentalist Baptist was a moment when I had it to be humble to understand that I didn't have all the answers, that I didn't have absolute truths, that everything I had thought to be my way to heaven, I had to rethink that, because there I was, consumed by the fact that I was a lesbian woman, and because of what I had learned in church, I was directly going to hell, according to that worldview. And so I think it's a matter of humility. It's a matter of understanding we don't know everything. We don't know, we cannot polarize issues. We cannot take one side and think that we are righteous and from that place be judgmental. That is such the work of hate, even though it might be infused by love for justice. It can make you a hateful person in the minute that you start thinking yourself right and above other people. So it requires a broken heart, a true humility, to understand that this fight is for the long run and it's for all of us, all of us.
Well, thank you so much. Those are all my questions for the day, but obviously I could go on for hours. I feel like I'm in your congregation already, you know? I'm ready for the plate to come around. I'm ready to give to the building fund. Reverend Ramos, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time today.